What's up, Washington Football Team Nation? It is Todd. This is the Tate and Todd podcast. As you can see, I am not joined by Tay. I'm joined by a fellow Washington Football Team fan, I would say expert, diehard for sure, my guy Alex. Tay is a little tied up due to the fact that he's getting married tomorrow. We're recording, but really today, probably when you're watching, he'll be getting married around noon today. So wish him luck.
Congratulations, my boy. Man.
Yeah. Hope there's no cold feet. It's like, no. So Alex, my guy, is filling in. So today is not the Tay and Todd podcast. Today is the Alex and Todd podcast. How you doing, Alex?
Doing good, man. How you feeling today, man? Happy Friday, man.
I'm doing good, thanks. You know, it's been between Tay getting married this week, and then I was out of town. First of all, we should have had you fill in for me earlier in the week, and then had you fill in again for Tay, because we didn't record after the Giants game just because we couldn't figure out a time where it worked. But I'm sure everyone else got it covered. So, but we're getting something going today. So thank you for filling in, Alex.
Of course, anytime.
We're gonna hit on some stuff about this Bills game on Sunday. So we're going to get right into it. As always, check out our sponsors, Hot Chicken Kitchen in Woodbridge, Virginia. Try them out. Alex, we got to get you up there.
Yeah.
I know that's a bit of a ways for you, but maybe stay in a hotel overnight.
It's worth it.
It's worth it, yeah. And then check out Dun Pro Financial and Diligent by Dun Pro, their new credit repair, self-credit repair, self-budgeting, financial planning, home buying, house buying, all that information that they have. It's a monthly plan that you can get. So let's talk some football, Alex. So let's talk some numbers today. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the Washington Football Team, and we're going to each point out a couple numbers. Alex is going to handle the offensive side. I'm going to handle the defensive side, and we're going to throw some numbers and we're going to discuss them. Go ahead with it, Alex.
Well, the one thing I noticed that may surprise a lot of people through the first 2 weeks of football, Washington is actually first when it comes to the run block win ratio at 80%. The run game, surprisingly, yes, number one at 80%. It's been kind of refreshing, and I also feel that they may just be the key to success for them on Sunday. You know, just finding a way to keep the team on the field. They have to find a way to sustain drives, keep Heinicke clean, let him continue to make the plays down the field. But, man, if we can establish a run game, it'd be nice. It'd be real nice for us.
Right. And you make a good point. Like, even with just the eye test, watching the games, last year, you remember week 1, week 2, week 5, where the running game just was not there. It was a combination of the offensive line. You had John Christian and Wes Martin starting. Antonio Gibson was new at running back. Peyton Barber was just not a very good running back. But this year, we've seen the success week 1 and week 2. Gibson was averaging, I think, 5.3 yards a carry. Last week, the week before that, he was averaging well over 4 and having success. He just hasn't been getting the number. He got 20 carries week 1. He didn't get as many week 2. But that's very encouraging. Sam Cosmi, if I'm not mistaken, is the highest ranked run blocking offensive rookie, and I think 3rd overall.
Imagine.
I have something somewhere. He's 1st and 3rd somewhere in run blocking. He's next to Brandon Sheriff, who personally I'm not a big fan of, but I guess he's a good player.
Yeah.
I guess we won't have that conversation now. But first, though, is very encouraging because I think that was last year. The team really had a rough start running the ball. So hearing that they're having so much success running the ball so early on, that's huge, and that's going to be big. The thing I wanted to say on that was the Bills have been shutting down the run these last 2 weeks. Now, here's my question: chicken or egg? Right? We played the Steelers and the Dolphins. Last year, the Steelers were the worst rushing offense in yards per carry, dead last, and the Dolphins were 29th. So they weren't exactly playing the most efficient or effective rushing offenses versus Washington, who was 28th last year, but has clearly improved through 2 weeks. So I'm curious to find out if this defense for the Bills, this run defense, is as advertised, or if they just are benefiting from playing some weak rushing attacks.
Well, I definitely want to say this is why we play on Sundays.
Yeah.
And I really want to give credit to Antonio Gibson here first. He looks a lot fresher, and he's seeing the lanes a lot more clear. And he's hitting them with a little bit of patience, but he's pressing the hole when it's the right time. And you can clearly see there's an uptick, you know, in his work ethic going towards the line. It's just been great. I just hope that, you know, the ball carrying issue as far as holding on to the rock doesn't become a thing this year. You know, he had 2, one that was lost, and, you know, one that, you know,
out of bounds. Yeah. And you kind of hope that you don't want it to happen, but if it's going to happen, let it happen week 1 so that you have that extra focus. Right. Exactly. Get it out the way. Because he did a little better week 2 with just how you could tell he was holding it loose week 1. And that's one thing when what's his name? Jarrett Patterson. He's been a running back since like birth and like only running back. And you can tell in the way he holds the ball.
Natural.
You can tell he just knows how to hold the ball. He's a natural runner. Yeah. Yep. But hoping that Gibson gets that stuff out of the way early and we don't have to worry about it later on. What's the next number you had?
Well, for the past blocking, man, they've been, I don't even want to say middle of the pack, man. They were 24th in the lead at pass block, win rate at 50%. And we all saw that kind of even led to what we saw with Ryan Fitzpatrick early on against the Chargers, just
getting hit,
finding ways to sustain their blocks. Yeah. But the good thing about that, Taylor has a way of making plays out of the pocket. And I think that kind of helps them a lot in many ways. And that can really help us going down the line against Buffalo. His ability to extend plays, get guys open. And I want to see receivers get a little bit better with their breakaway routes and escape routes when he does get out the pocket, just having the attentiveness and awareness to follow along with him when he's rolling out. And let's see if we can make some big plays.
Yeah. And what's so interesting? So they are 24th overall in the NFL, right? In pass blocking win rate, which is obviously not good.
Yeah, at all.
But the interesting thing about that is they've only actually allowed 2 sacks. And that's how that's why, the sack numbers really don't tell the whole story, right?
Oh.
Because, you watch it and you can see, sure, they've had some good reps. The touchdown throw from Heineke to Ricky Seals-Jones, he had time. So they've only actually allowed 2 sacks. But like you said, Fitzpatrick got hurt because of pressure that led to it. So that's where they have to improve, really. And then to touch on Cosme again, as good as he's been in the run blocking, he's been pretty terrible in the pass blocking. Granted, he had faced Joey Bosa week 1. He improved week 2. I think PFF had a stat where he was one of a few offensive linemen to not allow any pressure, which is, I thought I saw some. He definitely had a holding penalty on the 3rd down that hurt.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure about that, but he did have a bounce back performance there. So you hit on the offensive. I'm going to hit on the defensive.
Okay.
I had it up and then I think I lost it. So let me pull it back up. I'm pretty sure that the defensive line and pass rush win rate, as I pull it back up here, pass rush win rate that's a bit of a tongue twister. So they're 49%, 13th overall. That's not terrible, but for this defensive line, you expect more, right? You expect them to be up there with the New York Jets are at 60%, right? The Bills are at 58. The Steelers are at 54. The Bucks are 63. You expect Washington to be up there with the talent that they have. So you've got to see an improvement there.
Yeah, big time. They definitely need to step it up. I do love hearing Ron outwardly challenge, or more so just put in Chase Young on notice. Like you're putting a little bit too much pressure on yourself,
right?
And you can clearly see it if you go back and you can watch the game again. Him against Andrew Thomas switching side, it just looked like he was rushing, and he has a vast toolkit. He does. Take the time to reach into it, and that's going to come with them just settling. I think they definitely needed to go through these first 2 weeks to kind of find themselves, because the defense, again, was supposed to be our identity.
Yeah.
And so far, it's been like, all right.
Exactly.
When are we going to wake up?
Right.
So
exactly.
I'm glad that I think they're going to be a little bit pissed off, and I'm hoping to see a little bit more consistency and guys maintaining their priorities alongside the whole entire game. That's what I'm looking for.
And you look, they improved against the Giants. They had it was like the second quarter. They had a dominant second quarter.
Yes.
But then the third and fourth, to the Chargers and the Giants' credit, they really did work hard to get the ball out quickly. There were a number of plays where the defensive line won quickly. Yep. And the ball was just gone. The roughing that Chase Young was called on, which was not roughing to me
at all. Nope.
But even that, he got the ball out so fast. So we'll get when we talk about the Bills specifically, but they kind of like to take their offensive line is weak, and they kind of like to take more shots down the field. The Chargers, they're getting the ball out so fast. There was almost nothing you could do. So I'm going to hit you with the offensive run. The defensive run stop win rate, which this is, I don't know the number from last year. I may see if I can pull it up here, but they are 11th overall now at 33%. And you have noticed an improvement in the run defense, right? You've noticed that against the Chargers and the Giants. And they'll probably face some better rushing offenses, but Austin Eckler didn't do a lot. And honestly, against the Giants, they allowed a lot of rushing yards, but Daniel Jones had like 95 rushing yards.
Right. Yeah.
I think Saquon had a 41-yard run. And so that's one of my big concerns, is really teams seeing that zone read that Daniel Jones kept running as a weakness. Really, every time James Smith-Williams especially got in the game, he's the one who him and Landon Collins, they were the duo who allowed it last year, and the Giants said, hey, those guys are on the field again.
Attack.
Let's do it again. And it worked again.
Yes. Oh, my goodness, man.
That's a bit of a concern for me. But in terms of stopping running backs from running the ball, I think they've improved at least through 2 weeks. Obviously, this is still kind of the figuring out how real stuff is. And let me look at last year's real quick. So pass rush win rate last year, Washington finished 50% at number 3 overall.
Wow.
So that's where you kind of expect them to be. Run stop was 10th at 30%, which is kind of surprising me.
Yeah.
Pass blocking was 14th at 59%, and run blocking was 3rd at 73%. I'll be honest, those 2020 numbers are a little different than what I expected.
Yeah.
But the evidence is definitely there with Gibson averaging 4.5 and then 5.3. Just keep getting him the ball.
Yeah, feed him.
Exactly. So let's hit your matchups that you had. I'm touching those quickly.
Okay, so for my key matchups, first, again, I want to talk about Antonio Gibson versus that Buffalo D-line. Again, this is a game that's still one in the trenches, and if they want to find a way, I think our best defense is just find a way to just keep John Allen off the field. Josh Allen off the field.
Josh Allen, yeah.
Just keep him off the field, man. Again, sustaining drives and scoring, man. Find a way. When we get there near the end zone, red zone, please put 6 on the board, man. Let's just find ways to really hit these guys and put the pressure on them. I feel like we're a team that can definitely play very well with the lead and also a fast start. But to touch on my second key matchup, and this is going to be huge. He's done decent so far. William Jackson has definitely shown up, but William Jackson versus Stephon Diggs, I expect him to.
That's a big one.
All day. I expect him to follow him almost all day. That should be an exclusive matchup. That's what we paid him for. That's what I want to see.
Right.
I'm not expecting anything shut down because Stephon Diggs is who he is.
He is Stephon, exactly.
No,
it's containment. It's containment.
Yeah, it's literally containment, man. But if you get a couple plays your way, we'll be absolutely fine. And lastly, Coach talked about this guy. Everyone's been, not that they're waiting, but just want to see how Cam Sims, how they involve him in the play calling going forward. It's someone that needs to get open. I don't know if you caught Kurt Warner's breakdown.
I did. Yeah.
He
had some chances. He had some opportunities.
Definitely had some chances.
Yeah.
It gives me a sliver of hope, just feeling like, you know what? Scott is definitely calling up some beautiful plays.
He is. And
he's dialing it up for these receivers to get open. And I really hope that, Taylor, once he settles in, he could take advantage of those. Like Kurt said, just, these are the hidden yardage plays. You want to be able to take advantage of those when they're there.
Yeah.
But those will be my 3 key matchups: Gibson, William Jackson versus Diggs, and Cam Sims, how they decide to involve him in this passing attack.
I'd say that between the 3 of those, the Diggs, William Jackson is the one that concerns me the most, mainly just because Stephon Diggs is Stephon Diggs, right? It's really not anything to do with William Jackson. It's simply because Stephon is who he is. I think the one that I may feel the best about is Cam Sims against cornerback 3 or cornerback 2, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Because, not so much man, but just in terms of just being able to get open and then getting yards after the catch, which he displayed an ability to do last year. You mentioned that the coaching staff has said they want to get him more involved, and they're obviously trying to get De'Ami Brown involved and get him experience as well. But you kind of want to balance the experienced player contributing with the inexperienced player getting experience.
Yeah,
maybe they need to find that balance still,
and keeping that speed on the field as well.
Exactly,
which they do want. Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, I would like to see Cam Sims get more opportunities and split some time more. But I'm definitely Stephon now. So. We talk about Stephon. Josh Allen has not surpassed 200 passing yards in 2 games this year.
Say this. Oh my goodness! You know how this goes, man.
I know. I think Stephon hasn't surpassed 65 yards or so.
Oh man, why would you do that, man?
And I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I was on a podcast with a Bills podcast, invited Tay and I. I was able to go on there, talk with them, and I asked them. I haven't been able to watch the games. I want to watch them though, because I try to watch the condensed version. That's the one good thing NFL Game Pass I'll give them credit for is that. But I want to watch them back. But I asked them why is it that, and I'm particularly familiar with their lack of real big success because I have both of them in fantasy, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. I got Tyreek Hill and I was going for Mahomes, and one of my stupid friends took Patrick Mahomes, so I couldn't have that combination.
Oh, that's so
I had Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs, and then I moved some things around. I got Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, right? And I was expecting great things.
Yeah.
They have not really helped me so far through 2 weeks, so I asked them, why has that been? One of them said last year, he said they're still trying to figure out exactly who Josh Allen is. If last year was who he is, or if it was an anomaly. They said he's been a little less accurate. He hasn't been playing as well, hasn't been seeing the field as well. And so it's not so much. And also they said that they've gone to a less of a spread 3, 4, 5 wide receivers, philosophy, and more to an 11 personnel or 12, 21, where they're trying to kind of ground and pound a bit more. So him saying that kind of made me rethink how I see this game, because if the issues were that, the offense was not so much in sync, then I would say, well, they'll probably get in sync against Washington, like in terms of the play calling. Right. But if the issue is Josh Allen and his accuracy and that sort of thing, and they're trying to push the ball downfield behind a janky offensive line and our defensive line, then that kind of makes me rethink things. So that's the question. Will Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs get on track this week?
I'm going to have to just go ahead and say yes. And for the reason that you mentioned, with the other two teams, it's a copycat league. The quick game, again, if you want to get Josh Allen in the rhythm, the best way, and to also slow down a pass rush, is the quick game, which is why I also want to see our defensive line at least start getting their hands on some footballs at the line of scrimmage. You know what I'm saying? Start passes down, create some opportunities to create some havoc in the backfield, get an interception maybe. I don't want that to become our weakness. Right. Because this, people will identify and they will attack every single time. I'm really hoping that they just get along with that. But, man, I really do feel like this might be the week. We're always the team. Every time a team's not,
we're the ones.
Red carpet. Here we go.
Get back on track. Yep.
Man, right against Washington.
I'll never forget the 0-19 Lions. That was like the most obvious one. Man. That was the one that really was like, oh
my gosh.
So ever since then, and I know that was a completely different team, 11 years ago, but still.
Dude. Oh my goodness!
So that's probably the main question I have. I don't think they're never going to be a strong running team of the Bills. Not never, but that's not who they are.
Is that working our favor?
And it seems like that's who they're trying to be. Now, I think what works in our favor is them trying to be that when they're not that. I think that's what works in our favor.
I like that.
When you're just trying to force the run and it's not working, first, second down, and then then you get to the third downs, which who knows what we'll get from Washington's defense. But my concern would be more if the Bills decide they want to go back to what they had success with last year, spread the field, and then Josh Allen, that accuracy start. I mean, he can still make some plays. He still made some. He's not playing terribly. He's just not playing at an MVP level. But for me with quarterbacks, Josh Allen last year was his third year. And it was, a big difference from what we've seen.
Hugely.
I need to see it twice. I always need to see it twice before, because quarterbacks can do that, right? I mean,
they definitely can. Yeah.
Taylor Heineke. Yep. So that's my question, and that's probably the main thing I'll be watching. I'm going to give you two things that I think are key to defeating if Washington, or I'll probably give you three things. I'm going to give you three things that are key, and then we'll talk some Taylor Heineke, and then we'll get out of here. My three keys to beating the Bills, based on really somewhat against what the Steelers did, somewhat about what Washington just needs to do. One, the Steelers had constant pressure on Josh Allen. I mean, TJ Watt was doing his thing, and as predictable as it sounds to say they have to have constant pressure on Josh Allen, that's a major key to this game. And it's not just in a general sense with every team. It's because Washington has a clear advantage over Buffalo in this area. Yeah. Washington has a very talented defensive line. John Allen is doing his thing. Okay.
Earning that check.
Yeah. He's not
that check.
Right. Exactly. And the Buffalo Bills, they haven't given up, insane sack numbers, but the pressure has been on. Josh Allen has been he's been a little antsy and getting out of the pocket a little sooner than he needs to, things of that sort. The pressure is not just about getting sacks. The pressure is about forcing him to forcing him out of rhythm,
Yeah,
forcing him to
uncomfortable. Yes,
uncomfortable, and then that's when you start to get the boneheaded plays. That's when you start to get the negative plays. So that's the number one thing because Washington has a clear advantage. Sorry.
You're good.
My wife is trying to make me laugh behind the camera. Okay, so that's my first key. So unprofessional. That's the first key is they have got to have constant. And when I say I don't mean just pressure, I mean constant pressure. Because here's what I told the guys on the Bills podcast. Bills try to take some shots, try to some longer developing plays with their offensive line versus Washington's defensive line could spell some trouble for them.
Yeah, we hope.
Right. But if they do it enough, they will get some big plays.
They definitely will.
Right.
They definitely will. We have a penchant for giving those up.
Yeah. So that's why the pressure has to be constant. The second for me is Taylor Heinicke had 336 yards last week, threw the ball 46 times. Now he played well. He played very well.
Yes, he
had
did.
The interception, obviously. Yes. But in my mind, that's not a winning strategy every week to have let's just say non-franchise quarterback throwing the ball 46 times. Mm-hmm. Again, Antonio Gibson, 13 carries, 69 yards, 5.3 yards a carry. Let's get him at least 20 carries.
20,
right?
Yes.
At least 20, or maybe he's getting 15 and Jarrett Patterson is getting 7, whatever it is. They've got to run the ball for a couple of reasons because they're having success doing it. And because, like you said, I want them to have big plays. But I think when you're playing an offense that, even though they are not playing like a high-powered offense, they are a high-powered offense. Yes. They have the potential to be a high-powered offense in terms of Buffalo. And so you've got to keep the ball out of their hands. So you want to have long, sustaining drives. Come out. Personally, I always hope that Washington starts on defense. They always seem to have a better start when they start on defense, and if they can get a stop every time the offense comes out first, it's 3 and out.
Flat.
Right?
It's flat, man.
So flat. So flat.
Goodness.
They don't get a first down, right? And so it would just be great to me if you say whatever the score is, it's close and out of halftime, and you get the ball to start the third quarter, and then you go on like an 8-minute drive and score a touchdown. Like that is this is the type of game, the type of team where you need that sort of thing.
Yes.
That's my second is running the ball.
Okay.
My third, and again, I prefer to watch these games back in depth and provide more details. I'll probably start doing more videos, but it's just been a busy couple weeks here. My third thing is honestly get a little luck, because when you look, I mean, let's be real. The good teams that have good seasons, watch some of those games and see how lucky they get in some of those games, right? With some penalties, with some balls that just happen to bounce their way, a drop pass that gets intercepted. Washington, so we were at that Giants game. We were all there, and I was begging. I was like, please, can we just get one lucky play, a drop, a tip or something? And then we got the offsides on the missed field goal.
Yep.
Again, when you're playing against a team that is a better team than you, I think you need some help from the powers that be.
You definitely do. Yes.
It could be a bounce one way. I mean, like against the Chargers, Keenan Allen had that fumble. He knocked it out himself. And if you get, they got an interception that next play. But if they get that fumble, they're not on the 3-yard line. Everything could be different, right?
That was a winnable game. Jeez.
Sure was. So just a bounce their way, a tip their way, just something that they didn't even create. It just happens in their favor. Those are my 3 main things. I don't know if you got anything you want to touch on there.
Well, I definitely say the main thing for me is, one thing this defense has shown me, as much yardage that they'll allow up and down the field, they have shown, and this has been rang true last season as well. They're a bend but don't break defense.
They are.
When they get in the red zone, man, they tighten up. They're able to stop teams with 3, and I feel like that is a really good foundation to build off going forward. And this is one team that is probably going to test us in our defensive acumen as a collective, So let's find ways to keep them out of there. But, if they do get down to the red zone, be consistent there and stop them. Let's just only give up 3 points and let's see what we can do to help the offense get them back out there. Secondly, man, with these linebackers, I don't want it to become an issue that we're here over talking about the pass. And then, the run starts gashing us.
Right.
Let's not have that be a thing.
Right. They don't have a special players at running back. They really not don't. Terrible, but nothing special.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, let's just let's play to our strengths. Let's make sure that we stop them. And if we have to put the ball in Josh Allen's hands, let's really see where he's at. I always felt that Josh Allen's rise directly coincided with Stephon Diggs' arrival. And it's funny that you mentioned. It's funny that you mentioned that because we saw the same thing with Amari and Dak. You know how he ascended a few times. But in this particular season, teams are keying in on that. They're keying in on Stephon Diggs. They're taking away his strengths. They've had 16, 17 plus games of film to break down and really digest what he does well. So they're going to find a way to take away from him. I hope that we can also harp in on that. But again, I'll just go ahead and say my third. Honestly, man, I'd love to see special teams make a play.
I was thinking about that. You know, I tell you what, DeAndre Carter looks like he's getting one this year.
Definitely. You know, you saw it yourself when we were at the game. Every time like a kick went over his head for a touchback,
he's mad.
He was legit pissed.
He's mad. He wants to touch the ball.
The energy that's there, I'm like, man, to somebody like, man, what is he complaining about? I'm like, man, I love that because when he gets his chance, he's putting his foot in the ground, he's gonna go. You know, we haven't really had that since Brandon Banks. You know what I'm saying? And that even so, like that was explosive, but it wasn't all that great. But he just was, we know it's just like it's on the cusp of happening, and we're all
exactly
Even
if it's not a touchdown, it's just a really good return that gets you at the 20 or something.
Yeah,
for sure. That almost counts as like that's not a lucky play, but that almost counts in that category. Like you need help from a phase you don't normally get help from. You need and that's special teams. I agree. Awesome. It's one of those games where you have to play your best football because if you don't, like if you give them easy opportunities, they're going to take advantage. They're not going to mess them up. They're not like the Giants. No. They're going to take advantage. So the last thing let's talk about here. Let's talk about the most important position and the most important player. Taylor Heinicke got his sponsorship from Bud Light, not the company you would have thought. Now, I'll be honest, him getting sponsored and getting more publicity definitely starts to worry me because you know how it goes. But this is his first road start, at least with Washington, maybe overall, from what I understand. This is what I want to say about Taylor Heinicke. Now, this Buffalo Bills defense through 2 weeks, I think 7th against the run. I think 2nd against the pass. I mean, they've got Micah Hyde, they've got Jordan Poyer, they've got Tre'Davious White, and then they've got Greg Rousseau, who had a couple of sacks against the bad offensive line, but they've got Esponza, whatever it is. They've got I know all these names. It's just late. They've got Star, Latuliu, Mario Addison. They have like a good rotation, not great individuals, but good to very good, and then rotation. If Taylor Heinicke doesn't have a great game, let's just chalk that up for what it was, and then let's see him against the Falcons. You know what I'm saying? Like because he's playing a good defense now. He could have a good game because the Bucs were a good defense last year. The Giants are not a terrible defense. They're a
well-coached team as well.
They're kind of on their Washington tip, starting off slowly. But I'm not worried about Heinicke.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I have lower expectations this week just because you're going to a tough environment against a good defense. But if he doesn't play well, I'm just kind of here. I'm evaluating him as if he's a rookie. As if he's a first-round rookie, because that's almost like what he is with a slight head start. If he has a bad game, well, now we have a chance to see how he bounces back because we haven't seen him have a bad game yet.
Adversity,
right. Yeah. And so I'll like, there's a part of me that wanted to talk something long term, but I don't even want to talk long term because again, he already gets a sponsorship. If we talk long term, we're it's entirely too many jinxes we're throwing in there.
Yeah, don't want to do that at all, man.
Yeah, but I'd love to hear what you're thinking, how you're feeling about Heinicke going into Buffalo on the road.
Okay, so for comparison's sake, this kind of reminds me when Jay Gruden made the switch from Robert Griffin to Kirk Cousins. At the time, a lot of people really weren't happy with it.
I was one of them.
Yeah, myself included. But after watching that game, I don't know if it was New York that he played. I think it was the Jets that he played. Was it? I'm not even sure which game it was.
Preseason or regular season?
Regular season when Kirk they made the switch.
Jay,
he made the call beforehand, right?
Yeah, it was before the season. It was that. Yeah.
So all in all, I just watching Kirk, and when you're talking about passing the eye test, the offense looked fluid,
right?
And then as he played, it just looked like, man, like all right, this dude is really giving us a legit shot to win.
Right. Like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Aside from all the gaffes, and for Heinicke, somebody who again was just taking his damn final steps, stepping in the way he did against Buccaneers. We already know the legend behind that, and coming in, we felt the energy in the area week one. We were all down there. You just like chant Heinicke. He just finds ways to rise to the occasion. Now that teams are keen in on him, now that they're getting game film, let's really see what he's going to do. I really do have faith in Heinicke, though.
Okay.
I feel like he definitely has the ability. He has a command of offense. We saw that there were yards that were left out there. As time goes on, he'll key in on those and he'll make those plays. He'll make those plays, and he's non-fearing. After that interception against New York, we would have been toast. Years ago, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Wrapped up this scoring, you know what I'm saying? But he came back like, you know what? Screw it, bro. I got y'all. I do this. The swagger is there.
It is there. It's there. The moxie and confidence.
Dude, it's hard. It's so hard not to root for this guy. When you watch him, he's trying his best, and everybody on the team responds to him. So, I'm really rooting for the guy, man. I don't know if he's going to be our franchise guy, but this makes for a hell of a story this year. I'm here for the roller coaster.
I agree. And, some people I know, and I think maybe Logan Paulson, I didn't listen to it. I saw that he said he didn't think Heinicke could win from the pocket. I'll be honest with you. Even going back to the Panthers game when he first stepped in, from what I've observed, if the offensive line gives him time, he's going to find somebody to get the ball to. And he really does not leave the pocket too early, typically. Sometimes, but on average, the touchdown throw to Ricky Seals-Jones, that's one of those plays where you would kind of expect a guy to just, I've been in here too long, I got to go. He went right, he went back left, and then right again. He's not afraid to stand in the pocket. Yeah, exactly. Ooh. And so that's why for me, again, this week, if the offensive line gives him time, he threw for 336 and led the offense to 30 points, having missed multiple opportunities for big plays and throwing an interception. So imagine if he stops missing some of those opportunities, right? I'm excited to see him play because, like I said, kind of evaluating him like he's a rookie. So we need to see these different circumstances. How can he handle the prime time? How can he handle a game-winning drive? How can he handle bouncing back off a negative play? Now it's how can he handle a road game? And then, it's just, I'm excited though. At least I will say I'm sad for Ryan Fitzpatrick that he got hurt for him. Yeah. But it was like I wasn't shook. I didn't feel any different about the team's potential.
Okay.
The way I did when Robert got hurt, when Alex Smith got hurt, even when Kyle Allen got hurt, I was like, okay, geez, we were kind of wanting to see what he had. Yeah. With Ryan Fitzpatrick, it was like, I'm sad for him. But I'm kind of okay. What's the Heinicke show? Let's see.
It's definitely time. Definitely time to see. Did you want to touch on Tre'Davious and Terry?
Let's do it real quick.
Okay, real quick.
That's gonna be that's the matchup of the game.
That is the matchup of the game, hands down. Hands down.
And they played against each other in 2019, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. We played the Bills in 2019. Yep. We lost. Dwayne Haskins started that game. Mm-hmm. Terry mentioned that he was, I think, the toughest or one of the toughest matchups.
Yeah. So
now, and the thing is, and talking about Heinicke, Taylor Heinicke, from the moment he came in against the Chargers, and then last week, he's throwing the ball to Terry McLaurin.
Of course.
He doesn't care if it's Tre'Davious White or not. He's throwing the ball to him. He's expecting Terry to get – sometimes he trusts Terry to get open too much and throws in the ball. So the exciting thing about that matchup is that Taylor's going to throw in the ball whether or not he thinks he's open or whatnot. So it may not even be about Terry winning as much with like the route one, route running and getting separation. Like obviously, yes, but some of them is probably going to be contested catches where he's going to have to win.
For sure, yeah. And I'm quite sure they've had the conversation as to where he's like, look, man, if it's one-on-one, obviously if it's one-on-one, give me a shot. That back shoulder that Terry caught, just he's contorting and twisting his body to catch him.
Right.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
Right. What, man? Yeah. I do love that for them, man. I'm excited for Terry. I know this is definitely a game that he has circled on his calendar.
Yeah.
If he's one of the guys that he sees is like, it's my toughest matchup. Yeah. He's 17's coming locked in, ready to put on the show for us. I love the energy going into that, man. I absolutely love the energy.
If you want to be the best, you have to, you have to play well against the best. Yep. And I mean, for me, that's the thing. It's an opportunity for Terry McLaurin to have a bigger spotlight. Because if he played against Stephon Gilmore last year, right? Mm-hmm. And he was kind of working Stephon Gilmore some. He was getting his wins in. Yep. And if he can do something similar against Tre'Davious White, again, it's putting more stock in who he is as a player.
I'm excited.
I am too.
Early, man. I love the way they incorporated Terry early against, New York, the short plays in the slot, a little bit more of the same. Even if they decide to key and get the ball in Terry's hands, let's get it flowing. Dude, I'm pumped.
The one thing I really need to see, and whether it's from Terry McLaurin, whether it's from Dyami Brown, I don't care who it's from, we've got to see a big explosive play, over 60 or longer, right? The biggest one we've had to this point is the J.D. McKissic catch and run for 54. I think it was 54, something like that. Maybe if something 45 to 54. I need to see more big explosive plays. The opportunities will always be there. I just need to see them happen. So let's go ahead and make these score predictions. And the way that me and Tay do it is we say, all right, how much do you think Buffalo will score? And then how much do you think Washington will score? So I'll start first. How many points do you think Buffalo will score the Washington defense will allow?
I'm not going to just be an optimistic guy here. I set my total at 30 points. I felt like that was kind of it's
realistic.
It's very realistic for Buffalo. Like, I'm not sitting up here like just kicking dirt on our defense by any means, but
being realistic. I know I respect.
Yeah, I really feel that they're gonna have to bring it, and I love the challenge of them having to step up to one of the teams of the upper echelon, because this is one of the teams that Ron alluded to. He's following the mode of
right.
See what I'm saying? So this is kind of like, this is a true measuring stick and barometer of where we want to be in the future. If we really do feel we're a quarterback away, this is definitely one of the games where you want to show it.
You always love to have that barometer game to see where you're at.
Yeah, facts. And for Washington, I had as a 24. I feel like 27 is a solid number for this team throughout the entirety of the season. As long as the defense can just go ahead and hone in and get into their true grit, I feel like 27 is the magic number for these guys to sustain and win games going forward. But 24-30 is the total that I had for the game.
And you have Buffalo winning. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. And look, Alex is if he's predicting a Washington loss. Okay. All right, let me go. I'm going to say I'll have Buffalo scoring 27. Okay. Every week is so different, but it's tough to this is really not the right way to think, because the Saints crushed the Packers and then the Panthers crushed the Saints, right?
Right, yeah.
But it's tough to see the Giants scoring 29 on Washington.
That's my whole thing.
And then the Bills not. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we'll see. I'm going to go 27 Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to go.
Not a goose.
I'm going to go. No. I'm going to go 16 Washington. Ooh. I'm going to go 16. I'm going to go touchdown, 3 field goals, and probably another missed field goal or something. And I need to see them against a team like Buffalo before I can predict them to win a game against a team like Buffalo. We talked about it. Teams have a track record of getting on track against Washington. It's at home for them. And, so I hope we're wrong.
Yeah, same here.
I do have some money. I do have some money on us being right, but I hope we're wrong. And I mean, if nothing else, with games like this, I'm not talking about handing out participation trophies. If we lose, I'm going to be mad.
Of course.
But at the very least, I hope that we look competent, that we compete, and that we make it out without injuries.
That's all. Yes.
It's in a way, it's nice because against the Chargers and the Giants, I had expectations. Like, these are teams we match up well against that are comparable to this Bills game. We lose, I'm just not going to be surprised.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll be frustrated. I'll be mad that we still aren't at a level to beat a team like that, but I won't be surprised. So I don't feel as much pressure or anxiety going into this game.
Okay. So really, really quick. I know a little bit down the line in the season when we played Pittsburgh, we almost had a consensus that we just felt like that was probably going to be a loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Washington wins this, and let's say in a pretty convincing fashion, like a second half turnaround, the narrative of the season obviously changes.
It changes, yeah. The expectations change.
Who do you feel would be a direct impact of that?
When you say who, what do you mean?
Offensive, defense. If we have, who do you feel like has, a super hand? Who do you feel at least against this team?
Against this team, gotcha. Yeah, that's a good question, man. Like, it makes sense to go with the offense, but because they've kind of been more impressive. But I'm going to say the defense, because I think it's built on the back of the defense. So I'm going to say the defense getting stops, getting turnovers, more than the offense.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. That's a good question, though. I like that. Thanks so much for joining me, Alex. Probably need you again here in a couple of days after the game because, again, Tay's going to be on his honeymoon.
I'm here.
I'm not going to bother him.
I know he's enjoying it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's time for him and his wife. But thanks for joining me. We went over our time. When do we ever not go over our time?
Right.
But we will be talking again soon after Washington plays Buffalo. And I just hope it's at least a good game, but really hoping for a Washington win.
I'm excited.
We'll see what happens.
Yep.
This is Todd.
It's Alex.
And this is the Alex and Todd podcast. We'll talk to you later.